Thank you, everybody. We are now going to move into a question and answer session with Tinyiko on her presentation that she's given to us earlier. How it's going to work is that we've got a person with a mic, so if you want to ask a question, please put your hand in the air. The person with the mic will then get to you with the microphone, because it's important that we can all hear your questions. And if I can please ask Tinyiko to come back to the front. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, leadership. My question, Tinyiko, goes like this: financial intelligence. I need to be assisted in regard to with getting sponsorships, because I've been trying, even going door to door. As where I am, I'm surrounded by a lot of companies. So that didn't work. Well, I wrote emails, it didn't. And again, I need to be assisted in regard with how I, as the principal, ensures that preparation for the AFS. What role do I play? Because I am the principal, I've got other duties to take care of. And there is the finance officer. But now, because I'm the accounting person, so how do I ensure, what role must I play in making sure that I am well prepared for the AFS so that I'm not in trouble?
Okay, let's start with the sponsorship ones. Are you looking for sponsorship for the school? Yes. To help you with other activities, right? Okay, the community businesses, you've got businesses in your school, around the school. Have you approached them? And? Okay. The first thing you need to do is to put a proposal. You need to put a sponsorship proposal. What is a sponsorship proposal? The sponsorship proposal is you explaining, I wish I will show you mine. It's where you define yourself to the people that you are asking for sponsorship. You talk about your school, you talk about what is it that you are planning to do. And you need to build your sponsorship according to tiers. So for example, let me give you an example. I had a New Era Women conversation. So when I looked for a sponsorship, I needed media, I needed a venue, I needed speakers to be paid, I needed music and all that. Then you do a calculation of everything that you need, right? Once you do a calculation, you then build tiers to say, let's say your project will need 100,000 or 500,000. You divide that 5,000 according to tiers. Because it's very difficult to go to a person and say you need 500,000. It's very rare for someone to just sign a 500,000 for you. But if you divide it and you say, I need a sponsorship for this and it will cost 50,000. I need a sponsorship for this and it will cost 100,000. When you approach your sponsors, you use those tiers. Don't go as a whole amount because it's very difficult, you won't get it. Small by small or big by picky will make 500,000. But don't go as a total with the total amount. It's very difficult to get sponsors. Approach the local thing. They have the responsibility to sponsor you. You know that? According to that, they've got what is it called? Social responsibility, and they get tax rebates. So use that. So when you do sponsors, approach them, telling them that, you know, if you sponsor me, you will explain to show them that you understand. And you explain to them that once you sponsor, you will actually help them with the invoices and all that. It will help them with the tax rebate. So always put a proposal. If you need help, there are a lot of consultants that can help you with that. I also do that. So you do a full proposal talking about yourself. Talk about what is it and what are your objectives and what are you planning to achieve. What are your goals? What are you planning? If you have pictures, also insert pictures in that. Sorry. I also put pictures as well, and then do your financial statements and make sure that it's signed from the previous year, because they will want to know whether you want to use it for your personal or not. So make sure that it's signed, your 2023 one is signed, so that you build confidence and trust with your stakeholders. But they have a responsibility to sponsor you. Go to your local checkers, all those ones. Speak to them, they will help you. You will never know if you don't know, okay? I don't know if I've answered you. Thank you. Second question was, remind me?
To actually empower me as the principal in preparation for the audited financial statement.
Yeah, so you need to do a lot of, you asked what is your role. So your role, you are a CEO of that institution, right? So you have to overlook, you need to view your finances holistically and look at the previous statement in terms of the past three years, where you're going and what you're trying to achieve for the following year. So your role is more strategic than operation. So your role is more of your financial overview of what your organization is about to do. But you need to know your financials as well, very well. Don't rely a lot. Yes, you've got a financial manager. Guys, get involved, ask questions. Ask questions, what happened to this? Why is it that? And the more you ask questions, the more you understand. If you don't ask questions, tell them, I'm not a financial person. Can you explain to me why there's negative here and not positive? So your role is more strategic than actual doing the job itself. So you are the CEO in this case. I don't know if I've covered.
That sounds like yes. Any other question?
And do a lot of financial management as well. Do you have a financial management course? Register some. Private Jet Regenesis has. Just capacitate with some financial programs. 3 months, 4 month courses. They're under short skills program. They're NQF5s, NQF6. They're not high, but it's for finance for the non-financials. That's the name of the course, I think. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, leaders. I would like us, Tinyiko, to go back to the leadership. And then the one that I would like you to go back and discuss, you know, when you're discussing it, I like the design thinking. If you can go back to design thinking and then maybe try to re-explain, because I like that part, but unfortunately you're running and rushing at the time you explain that one. Thank you.
Okay. So design thinking, it's a creative way of solving problems and looking at your specific problem in this case. Let's say I gave an example of a problematic employee, right? You have a problematic employee that is always challenging you, or always late, or something. It's one or two, they're just on your case. You say 1, they say 100. You say 200, they say 500. Now, in this case, you need to focus on empathy and collaboration in terms of resolving that problem. And I want to move it from theory to this practical example. So you need to have innovative ways of resolving that issue. Find out what is it that is causing the problem, right? What is it that is causing the problem? Gather inside information. What is it that's causing that specific? I'm using that as a case study at this moment. What is it that's causing that problem? Understand that issue and define it. Remember I said you cannot solve something if you cannot define what the problem is. So define the problem and articulate it on your own and challenge that gathering that you've inquired. So in this case, you're going to look at your educators and find what is the root cause. Why is this educator always late? Why is he always challenging me? Is it that the person wants my position? Is it that the person has their own personal issues? You need to be creative, a thinker. Do not take it personal. You need to take yourself out of the problem and think, what is it that, how you can resolve it? Now you have to define that and foster collaboration in brainstorming. In this case, call the educator and sit with them and have sessions and engage. Collaborate with other people. It might explode while you're trying to resolve it. Get other people involved. As much as possible, don't even chair that meeting, for example. Let someone be a mediator, right? That person will be sober. As much as, remember we spoke about this circle, right? You need to search yourself first before you even go there. What if the problem is you? What if the problem is coming from you? They can't just take the way you handle your emotions. Maybe you come grumpy because your physical self is not good enough. So you need to search that as an individual before you even go to your design thinking. Right? So you have to get someone to mediate in this case. I'm trying my slides to open. Come. And foster collaboration by brainstorming session to generate diverse solutions and encourage input from all the stakeholders. Once you have done that, you develop simple solutions and test it if it will work or not. In this case, give timelines to say, I'm gonna speak to this person again maybe after 3 weeks and see if there's progress or not. So give yourself timelines and time frames while you're resolving a specific problem, while you're testing now and then, checking whether the problem is still coming back or not within that specific time frame. And then you implement. Implementation in this case study, you will be calling the same educators and try to talk again and reflect and iterate in whatever you're trying to achieve. But it's very important when you deal with people to be fully capacitated with all those emotional intelligence and all that. That I'm not gonna move away, because I found that as a leader, once that is not resolved, you will always have problems. You can move from one school to another. You'll get the same problem over and over again. Right. I don't know if I've covered that.
That's very true. Good. Any other question? Please raise your hand. Here we go.
That design thinking, I was speaking to Mem here, that it is a very deep concept. It needs also an assessment of your own. You need to do your own assessment. it's sort of a module that if you're interested, you can always go through it. You do assessment, and then you do moderation, as in how do you go about it. It's very difficult to speak about it not doing an activity. If we had more time, we would be giving you some assessment sheets to say, can you assess your design creativity, your emotional intelligence and all that. But we'll talk about it some other time.
You spoke about getting a mentor or a life coach. About 2 years ago, we got involved, I'm from Vumatal, and we provide pre-connectivity to schools. One of the challenges that came up when we engaged with the schools, especially with the teachers, was that they didn't have psychological or social or psychosocial support that was available to them, even more so than curriculum or training on the academic side. How do teachers sort of navigate that? And I think it's even worse in our public sector schools. It costs money. The kids are struggling now because they're moving between schools because of the zoning. So it could be a child from a Melody who now attends a school in Eerstris or Silverton, and they are really struggling, so bullying becomes an issue. The sort of respect for teachers is not there. How do you navigate that? Because, like I said, it's not a free service that's offered to teachers, and if they aren't coping, how do we even then get to this step where they can assist the children?
So are you talking about educators or the learners in this case?
Educators. Because they're the ones who obviously have to look after the children, and it's so much broader than just teaching a subject.
Yes.
So if they're struggling in that sense without the relevant support, how do you see this all fitting in?
Yeah. There are NGOs that offer this. I know social development does it. They do have cooperatives that are offering life coaches for women in this case. What I can do, we can talk, I can connect you to Hlanganani because she heads that department. They do have those NGOs that offers. They are paid by the social development, but they are sort of like targeted to different organizations. Unfortunately, most people don't know about such services, but they are doing that. They are under NGOs, social development. So if you can, maybe we can talk, I'll give you Hlanganani's number. You can contact her and just find out how many organizations in that area that can help you, because it's very important to sort of coach the educators and help them. They get it for free, but the government will source those consultations on their behalf.
We've got a question here.
Have I covered that? Are you answered? Okay, thanks.
Good morning, colleagues. Colleagues, it's an issue of networking. Isn't it that we are here for networking? So I'm requesting that you share the contacts with all of us because we're here for that. Thank you.
Okay. For Hlanganani, so I'll give you her numbers. Then you can share. Thank you. I don't have my phone with me here. It's in my bag. I'll give you. Thank you for that. And you see, her network intelligence is good.
I would like you to assist me here with the holistic development of leaders by developing multiple intelligences. As for spiritual, emotional, intelligence, physical, financial, networking. I think specifically, I'll speak about myself. I'm a new elected SGB chairperson. As young and not into education, I'm still learning, and there's so much to learn from. And thanks to my principal here, she's the one who's been pushing me. Even yesterday, she was complaining, when are you always quiet, you don't speak. So I think spiritually, I'm okay. Emotionally, I'm okay. But intelligence, I sometimes feel like I don't belong. So I don't know, maybe what advice could you give me, maybe to feel like I do belong. Maybe there are certain things I must be physically fit or emotionally fit to know that I can take decisions. Like sometimes I feel like, hey, this one is above me. I can't maybe express how I feel on this one, or what to say on this one maybe. Because sometimes it's hard for me to say, you know what, I don't want this, but I want that. And sometimes because I feel like here it's above the board, because these people, maybe they are more educated, they know more. So I'm still new, I'm still a baby there. You see, they must tell me what to do, I mustn't tell them. So maybe if you can maybe tell me on, am I emotionally weak or intelligence? I don't know how to find myself being a new leader. So maybe if you can help me to integrate leadership and management, how do I go on that one?
Okay, thank you for that. So let me explain the two intelligence. The IQ is the cognitive ability such as reasoning. So it's your IQ. You know, when they said, yo, that one is intelligent. That is IQ, right? Have you ever seen those people that are very intelligent, like you can see, but they don't wash or something? Like, I don't want to call that name. They call them nets. They're very intelligent, but the emotional intelligence is not there. That's the difference. So IQ is you are intelligent. EQ, you understand your surroundings and you self-regulate. You show empathy, you understand your social interaction, you enhance communication. That's how you must differentiate it. Because you can be intelligent, as in smart, but your emotional intelligence is down. But there are people that have a very high emotional intelligence with a little IQ, but they're very good in leadership. And I'm one of those. Now I'm a hard worker. My IQ, I read a lot. So I compile a lot of my understanding through research and reading. If I don't do that, I'm not that, but my emotional intelligence is very good. So now, because I've practiced that a lot, I'm able to identify, oh, that one, she's actually smart. Let me move her from point A to point B. That one can be my public relations, for example. If I need to go for sponsorship, let me take that one. She's going to talk while I keep quiet. Then I look like I'm a good leader. My emotional intelligence has actually kicked in that manner. So you need to, in your position, I don't know, I think it's more of your confidence. It's not really about your intelligence. It's your confidence. When you say you can't talk because you're not sure whether you are right or not, it's confidence. You feel like maybe they might not listen to you. Just keep on talking. And when you go home and assess yourself, hey, Mara, I wasn't really talking, So you need to keep talking. Talk, even if you feel you're talking a bit of nonsense, it's okay. When you get home, make an introspective of yourself. It's okay. You learn every day. I wasn't like this. Now people are like, yo, you talk very well. There were times I remember when I was in high school, because they pick up that I'm very good, my English is quite good, with Romeo and Romeo, wherefore thou art Romeo. And then they put me under debate. I didn't stand for 3 seconds. I couldn't talk. My speech just went numb. But with talking and talking and talking, I can do a very good presentation, and here am I. So you need to practice. It's not your IQ, and it's not your emotional intelligence. It's your confidence in this case. Thank you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My question is on balancing emotional intelligence in the management in schools in general, applying E of EA and labor law. How far can an emotional leader go to understand that you don't end up practicing one over the other while compromising the other?
You're talking about labor law and emotional
Employment of Educators Act. I'm talking E of EA and labor law, because you can't divorce the two.
Yeah,
and how as a leader would you say you're not compromising the other when you're applying emotional?
I've got my friend here who's an advocate. Advocate, you want to answer it? Come, my advocate, she's my friend. Advocate Mugago, ladies. She studies this one, MBA, LLB, what?
Thank you. Good morning. Look, I'll talk mainly on the aspect of the law, because Tinyiko, I think she covered it very well. You know, the issues of IQ, emotional intelligence, and the rest. When it comes to workplace conflicts, the legislation is there. And if you'll have to implement or act upon the legislation, it is not a discretion. It's mandatory. Yes. Should it happen in that one of your employees is not taking into cognizance what they're supposed to do, and you have given talks and counsel, you know what labor relations says. Should you foresee that as poor performance, for an example, there is a counseling session that you need to follow. There are timelines. You need to craft your minutes so that it can be evidence in that I've been talking to this particular person for so many times and for so many days, and this is what we talked about, and these were the resolution, these were the expected outcomes. Then at the end of the day, if it shows that this person did not adhere to the resolution or to the outcomes of the meetings, then you need to start the process. It's not the question of you as a leader being emotional about it. Yes, other people may look at it that way. But what is more important, you ought to be transparent in that the process that we're engaging in now, it's a legal process. So if you try to be as honest as you can, because some of the employers, they use the performance appraisal system as a punishment, then it gets to be more personal because they don't understand the process. I'm sure you all know the performance processes. Yes. So when you engage in that process with an intention of spiting somebody else, then it is totally incorrect. But if you're transparent, you are clear, you've got the prescripts, you've got the legislation, you've got the Labor Relations Act, you've got your code of conduct, you read to the particular person. Should it need that you should have a person that is going to be a scrubber as somebody that is totally impartial, you get that person to be involved. The talks get to be recorded. Then it's easy to follow the process. But don't underestimate your role as a leader in having to engage in these processes. But what is more important is clarity to that. So that's the process that I'm sure I've covered the issue of the labor relations. We'll talk about it later on as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Advocate. You still want her to answer, or it's another question?
I just want to answer.
Okay. Oh yes, you're in legal space.
All right, good morning everybody today. All right, I am Advocate Governor. I'm actually at high school in Alberton. I just wanted to add to what our advocate has mentioned already. Remember, as a leader, you have to separate your functions, all right, and your role. All right, it's incumbent on you to actually follow the duties that has been conferred upon you by legislation. All right, and the next thing is that you always apply the rule of law. Firstly, your procedures, it must be substantively correct and it must be procedurally correct. Substantively means that you must have, there must be a problem. You must have an offense. Remember, our justice system has moved towards restorative justice, not punitive justice. This is where the procedures that our esteemed advocate spoke about comes in. You need to follow those steps. What have you done? And when you have exhausted all options, then you have no other option but to either dismiss or refer to further counseling, whatever the decision may be. And if you feel that you if there's some conflict of interest in this matter, then you recuse yourself. You get an independent mediator to mediate the process. Remember, you're not arbitrating, you're mediating first. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Well done. Let's give Tinyiko a big round. Thanks, Tinyiko.